The Galactic Council had existed for 3,000 cycles, a monument to cooperation among the stars. 17 species sat in its chambers, each contributing their strengths to the collective. The Vorath brought their mathematical genius, the Kelson their diplomatic grace, and the Thrain their industrial might. When humanity requested admission 200 cycles ago, the Council barely noticed. Commander Zexathal of the Vorath stood before the emergency assembly, his 4 eyes dim with exhaustion. "They are everywhere," he said, his translator struggling to convey the tremor in his voice. "We thought them harmless. We were fools." The humans had arrived in a single colony ship, refugees from a dying world they called Earth. They spoke of war, of extinction-level conflicts that had ravaged their home. The Council listened with the patronizing patience reserved for primitive species. Every race had their dark history. What made humanity think theirs was special? "We offer medical knowledge," the human ambassador had said, a female named Chen. "Engineering solutions, cultural exchange." The Kelson delegate had barely suppressed his amusement. Medical knowledge from a species whose average lifespan was a fraction of the Council's youngest race? Engineering from beings who had just discovered FTL travel? Still, the Council granted them a minor colony world in the outer fringe and thought nothing more of it. That was their first mistake. Within 10 cycles, human settlements appeared on 17 uninhabitable worlds. Planets the Council had marked as too hostile, too volatile, too deadly for colonization. Worlds with crushing gravity, toxic atmospheres, and predators that would make a Thrain warrior flee. The humans didn't ask permission. They simply went, adapted, and thrived. "It's their biology," Dr. Shenra of the Kelson had reported to the Science Committee. "They evolved on a death world. Their planet's gravity is 1.4 times galactic standard. Their atmosphere was poisoned to most carbon-based life before they engineered it. They have persistence hunting hardwired into their DNA. They quite literally chase their prey to exhaustion across continents." The committee filed the report and forgot about it. Another mistake. The Kryn incursion changed everything. The Kryn, a hive-minded species from beyond the Veil, descended upon Council space like a plague. They consumed worlds, assimilated technology, and left nothing but silence in their wake. In 30 cycles, they destroyed 4 Council species entirely and pushed the rest to the brink of collapse. The Council's military doctrine, built on 3 millennia of relative peace and small-scale conflicts, crumbled. The Vorath strategists couldn't predict hive mind tactics. The Thrain warriors, bred for honor combat, fell before waves of disposable drones. The Kelson diplomats found nothing to negotiate with. Humanity said 3 words. "We've got this." The Council scoffed. This species, barely spacefaring with a total population smaller than a single Thrain breeding world, claimed they could face an enemy that had humbled the galaxy. The humans didn't wait for approval. Their ships appeared at the front lines, thousands of them, crude compared to Council vessels, but numerous beyond reason. Where did they all come from? In 200 cycles, how had they built such a fleet? They never stopped building, Zexthal would later testify. While we saw them as farmers and miners, they were constructing shipyards in every asteroid field, every gas giant, every dead moon. They converted 80% of their industrial capacity to war production the moment they detected the Kryn. They didn't consult us, they didn't ask, they just knew. The first engagement at the Helios cluster should have been a massacre. 12,000 Kryn vessels against 4,000 human ships. The Council watched from their sanctuaries, preparing funeral rites for the brave, foolish humans. The Kryn never knew what hit them. Humanity didn't fight like the Council. There were no honorable engagements, no elegant maneuvers. They fought like cornered animals with the intelligence to forge weapons. They used nukes in space combat, something the Council considered barbaric and inefficient. They rammed disabled ships into Kryn formations. They infected captured Kryn technology with viruses that turned the hive's own weapons against itself. Most disturbing of all, they anticipated. Every Kryn adaptation was met with a human counter-strategy within cycles. It was as if the humans had fought hive minds before. They had, On their own world, against their own artificial intelligences, twice. The tide turned at Kepler's stand. A human admiral named Okonkwo made a decision that saved 3 council species. When the Kryn Queen ship was located, the council's admiralty calculated a 40% chance of success with an assault fleet. Acceptable losses, 60,000 personnel. Okonkwo didn't attack the Queen ship. She lured it into the Novara system star using false transponder signals and debris patterns. The ship, along with 2 million Kryn drones, was vaporized. Human casualties, 0. Unorthodox, the council decreed, but effective. The war ended in 28 cycles. The Kryn were eradicated, not defeated, not pushed back, but erased from existence.
Humanity hunted down every hive cluster, every queen, every spore ship. They didn't stop until the threat was extinct. The council threw celebration galas. Humanity declined the invitations. They were busy establishing defense stations in every major system.
Establishing trade agreements that gave them access to every council world's resources. Settling peacefully on another 100 supposedly uninhabitable planets. Now, standing before the council, Commander Zexthal finished his report. They are not violent. They do not threaten. They simply exist in every space we cannot, go where we dare not, and thrive where we would perish. Their ships patrol our borders. Their stations orbit our worlds. Their traders are in every market. Their engineers in every facility. Their advisors in every government. Ambassador Chen, now Ambassador General Chen, sat in the gallery, her expression unreadable. We granted them one fringe world, Zexthal continued. They now control territory equivalent to the 3 largest council members combined. And we gave them this territory. Willingly, gratefully, because we needed them. The Kelson High Chancellor leaned forward. What do you propose we do? Zexthal's eyes all dimmed completely, a Vorath expression of absolute defeat. Nothing. What can we do? They saved us. They protect us. They feed us. And if we tried to oppose them? He trailed off. In the gallery, Ambassador General Chen stood and straightened her uniform. She hadn't needed to say a word during the entire session. She simply bowed respectfully to the council and left. Outside the chamber, her aide whispered, "They're starting to understand." Chen smiled softly. "Good. It's better when they figure it out themselves. Humans learned long ago. The most successful predator is the one the prey never realizes is hunting." The aide glanced back at the council chambers. "And are we? Hunting them?" "No," Chen replied, her voice carrying the weight of ancient wisdom. "We're protecting them from everything else in this galaxy. And in return, they'll never question why we're everywhere, why we're essential, why they can't imagine the galaxy without us." But she paused at the viewport, gazing at the stars. That's not predation, that's symbiosis. They just don't know which organism is truly in control. Behind them, the council continued its emergency session, unaware that humanity had already won a war that was never declared, using weapons that were never fired, achieving dominance so complete it felt like partnership. The apex predator doesn't announce itself. It simply becomes indispensable.